My name is Gary Tessier, and I live in St. Boniface in close proximity to the Mission Industrial Park, a very serene area, almost a paradise with trees, the Seine River going in front of my place. I've lived here for a little over 40 years now with my family, but my paradise has turned into something else, unfortunately. There were a couple of incidents that took place in the industrial park. One explosion with a chemical plant caused my house to shake when it finally first blew. And then the Speedway fire in 2012, where we were eventually evacuated, plume of smoke going overhead. When we learned subsequently that the evacuation zone should have been basically all of St. Boniface, taking right to Tessier Avenue. And nothing has come out of that. We had asked for plans of some kind, that emergency plans in case of other incidents, potential like that. And nothing we've heard ever come from municipal, provincial, or federal governments regarding those kinds of issues. We also have a train line that goes by that is carrying tankers full of all kinds of fuel, chemicals, all kinds of things on a daily basis. This is a lac mégantic waiting to happen once again, or what took place in Ohio not that long ago. And there have been some incidents just further up the line, closer up to Windsor Park area, where there were some derailments a couple of years ago. But 2015, that summer, I was working in my yard. Noise started up that I didn't understand. I thought it was trains crashing or something. I finally went to look, and there were no trains in the vicinity. So I followed the noise, and it took me to a shredder, metal shredder in the industrial park that had just started up. We've had noise recorded on my back deck at 70 dBs and more. And this is a sound technician using proper equipment that's been to my place, not an Apple app that the industry itself uses. Along with the noise and everything else, we've found fluff on a consistent basis over the summers here, especially when I'm cutting my lawn, then I'll find fluff. And it's not plant-based fluff. It's fluff coming from vehicles and these kinds of things. When the air is blowing from the right or wrong direction, the smell, which is a sort of a fuel chemically kind of disgusting, acrid thing, it makes it hard to breathe. You got to go in your house. But the noise is incredible. And it even permeates through the walls of the house and through the windows of the house. We can hear it going. I can hear them start up when they start up at 7:30 in the morning, and it can go all day long. So my retirement in my little paradise has become a little compromised. From my perspective, there's a real issue, a real concern there. And no research has found that, there's carcinogenics in those things, hexavalent chromium, mercury, lead, and nickel. The list goes on. And there were studies that were done in my yard by the University of Manitoba. They did our whole area here and found lead levels above acceptable levels in my garden, on my lawn, my grass, different areas they took, in the plants as well. I had the pleasure of assisting a student. We even did a study in the wintertime, going in the month of March, where we picked up snow that had fallen from December to March, and did 50 samples all over the place in the industrial park and in the residential area. And that snow revealed mercury and lead. Well, this is not mercury that fell in 1943 or was deposited there. This fell in the first 3 months of 2019. So this stuff is being deposited in the air right now. And mercury, as far as I'm understanding, is acceptable at no levels. And government is aware of this. Government is being made aware of this. The studies have been published, remitted to all these individuals, and nothing happens. I can't remember how many times I assisted with meetings with government, worked with a local committee here. We went to the provincial government, and spoke with them. The frustration of really getting the sense that you're not being listened to. You're just a little citizen that doesn't have an idea what they're talking about. Don't be concerned. All is good. We got a letter from the government acknowledging, in fact, that because they finally acknowledged that there were some issues in terms of lead levels in the soil. Got the letter saying, yeah, you have high levels in your soil. Here's the amounts. Wash your vegetables. That should be good. End of story. We're not talking about historical now. We're talking about lead that is being produced and emitted from these kinds of industries today. So why are we not dealing with that kind of thing at present time? We've been gardening for 40 years since we've been here. We continue to garden. We continue to eat vegetables from our garden, and but we're replenishing our soil. Every second year, we're adding new earth. Every year, we do our own composting, so we're adding the compost into our garden. So this is all fresh stuff. It's not earth that we're not growing our stuff in earth that's been sitting there, and we have garden boxes. So it's not even stuff that we're digging out of the ground. And the industrial park, I admit, is not that far away. How come there's no containment for those for a shredder, for example? There are streams that come from the industrial park that run into the Seine River through aquifers. There's underground streams, and there are surface streams, smaller ones that come from the industrial park that go right into the Seine River at Happyland Park and other areas where they have found outlets going into the Seine River where lead levels were above acceptable levels. That is toxic chemicals that are being produced today. They're doing urban mining in these places here, and they're taking vehicles and they're not properly stripped down, and they're just crushing them in this thing, and it's releasing all kinds of stuff into the soil, into the air, and the groundwater that carries it to the stream. I mean, the Seine River here in front of my place has at least 16 different species of fish in it. It's not really just a local problem. It can extend quite far. The stuff that's falling in the garden, well, I'm breathing that in on a daily basis, and so is everybody else. What are the long-term effects for that kind of thing? There are issues with health and people living in areas adjacent to industry like that. Point Douglas, for example, there's some metal scrap dealers there, and people with garden boxes there. So garden boxes with fresh earth have had recordings of lead levels twice the acceptable level in their particular area as well too. So it's not limited to just our particular situation here. Just keep that in mind. And I'm certain there's other areas in the city of Winnipeg where any of these scrap yards are located in any kind of residential area within proximity to that, there's going to be issues. The research student, and I had assisted him a few times on site in close proximity to the metal shredder, but off site on a private property, shrapnel fell from the shredder right beside when he was installing his cameras to take views and do some monitoring. We also know that other industry, I won't name them at the present time, but their building was struck by shrapnel and that damaged a cinder block wall. This is again coming from the metal shredder. So the dangers aren't only in fine particulate and fluff and these kinds of things, but I mean, potentially people can be hit by some of the objects that are coming from this, because again, there's no containment of any kind. Our group has brought attention to these issues with details, reports demonstrating all of the issues, and government has done nothing about it. They're going to take the onus away, the problem away from industry. It's like they're relaxing the laws, and if anything, the potential for more calamitous results is elevated. I've taken staff out to the industrial park, showing them with the shredder functioning, the piles of metal that are exceeded by meters, the fence lines, all these kinds of things, demonstrating, showing them the contravention of any of the rules and regulations that are supposed to be in place, with nothing but an acknowledgement. We know that there was a time when there were supposed to be inspections of these facilities, but the facility would be advised ahead of time that the inspector will be coming. They'll be there Thursday at 10 o'clock. It gives them plenty of time to clean up their act, so to speak, on a temporary basis. But how it can be allowed that industry can self-regulate and determine what is bad or not. Government is supposed to be ensuring the safety and the health of its citizens, its population, and they're not doing so.